What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tyler, and on this channel I usually build automotive content. I've been building this wide body Porsche, but that probably doesn't matter to any of you because you're probably clicking this because it's a bike video. I recently picked up this 2002 Yamaha V-Star 1100. It had 9,000 miles. Everything was clean, fired right up on a cold start, and rode phenomenally. Literally the second ride that I went on, and this thing broke down and left me stranded on the freeway. Then come to find out, there was more than questionable wiring and a lot of things that were just unsaid and not disclosed by the previous owner. Long story short, I found fuel filters filled with rust. The tank is filled with rust, and I can only assume that means that some of that had led into the carburetor, which is now either keeping that from running or it's just clogged up the filter so much to the point where it's not running. But I have a feeling that it went all the way through. Today, we're gonna remove all the rust in this tank. We're gonna seal this tank, clean the entire fuel system out, rebuild the carbs. We're gonna try and get this thing back on the road. Seems like I'm gonna have to do a lot more work and reinvest in parts that were already purchased because the work was done pretty shady. I got this clear hose because I want to be able to see if this gas is clear or not. The gas doesn't really look that dirty. All right, I took off the tank, and then I've also pressure washed it just to try to get any loose debris or rust out. And look at these chunks, guys. Look at this, chunks of rust all on the floor right here, everywhere. I washed it over there. There's a bunch of rust. Now let me show you guys the petcock filter. It's not clogged, but it is a little dirty, so I'm gonna clean this thing up. What are we gonna do about all the rust in the tank? I'm sure many of you guys out there know that you can eliminate rust of the tank with various different products people use. White vinegar, acid. What I have here is toilet bowl cleaner. Now I know that sounds a little silly, but the main ingredient for this is hydrochloric acid. These are 24 fluid ounces. Now I know there's 128 fluid ounces, I believe, in a gallon. So I have 2 gallons of hydrochloric acid, and then I also have 2 gallons of distilled water that I'm gonna kind of do a 1-to-1 mixture ratio in this. This is a 4-gallon tank. I think that should do the trick. We're gonna let it sit for 24 hours, come back to it, see what it looks like. I know a lot of people are probably gonna scream in the comments down below that I'm leaving hydrochloric acid in this tank for way too long. I think it's gonna be fine for the amount that I'm gonna dilute this with, the 1-to-1, and it's already pre-mixed with water as well. So it's not pure hydrochloric acid, so I know it should be abrasive, but it shouldn't be anything ridiculous. Obviously this is fine to flush down your toilet, so it should be fine to go in this gas tank. Afterwards, obviously, we're gonna neutralize that acid with baking soda, but I'll show you guys that as I do it, and kind of what the results are. So I'm gonna get to doing that, mix this up, stick this thing, put this thing away, and we'll wait 24 hours and see where we're at. Oh, nice. Our gallon of distilled water, and all of our stuff is holding. Cool. 5 of these, because they're 24 ounces each, equal your 128 1-gallon thing, about. Leaking it. So it has been 48 hours now. At the 24-hour mark, I dumped this, checked out all the rust. It did a decent job at getting all this stuff all out. Hopefully it should be rust free or pretty damn close to it. The second time around, I used vinegar instead of hydrochloric acid because the acid is very expensive. Vinegar was not. It was 12 bucks for 4 gallons, so. Alright guys, so at this point the tank is dry. I have this is red coat fuel tank filler, fuel tank liner, and I have the other holes plugged. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pour this all in here. I don't really need to save any of this, and I'm just gonna use it to, I mean, this one thing is supposed to coat up to 15 gallons, I think. I know this stuff gets real sticky. Okay, this stuff is like bright red. On here, okay. Now I have this on here. I'm gonna just slosh it all around. All inside the fuel filler net. Ooh. We used our red coat. You guys saw my technique. I don't know if that was right, if that was not proper. And I'm not gonna say I'm going in this completely blind, because I'm not. I researched hours and hours and hours. When I say hours, literally I mean hours. So the best solutions, best acids, best methods of getting the rust out of the tank by using the hydrochloric acid, vinegar, and dumping acetone in it, putting WD-40 in it so it doesn't flash rust. These were all steps that I had to do relatively quickly that I didn't really show in depth as much as I wanted to, because the tank actually started flash rusting much quicker than I had expected. When they say it happens flash rusting, they don't call it that for no reason. It happened quickly. I'm gonna take a video with my phone and see what it looks like on the inside. Oh, yo, this whole thing is coated. A pretty big update. It is now 4 days later. Not only did I seal the tank and seal it successfully, we sanded down the tank, painted it satin black. Super basic, I know, but I did it satin black. And we painted the fender. Look at how well these things came out. Satin black. This thing is gonna look nice, super nice. And as you guys can see, the freaking carb is missing. So what I've also done is I replaced brand new fuel filter. You guys can see right here. Brand new fuel filter, as well as down here, I have a brand new fuel pump. Now, carb is out right here. I'm rebuilding it. I have a full carb rebuild kit. I'm just gonna rebuild this thing because I don't trust anything on here. A lot of work, a lot of work. I've owned this bike now for a week and a half. I've pulled off the tank, got rust out of the tank, sealed the tank, painted it, painted the fender, fixed electrical connections, pulled the carb off, and I'm rebuilding the carb all in a single freaking week, man. As expected, there is rust inside the bowl and shit inside the carburetor, so it's a good thing we're doing this. That's not good. I should have kept my finger on that. And now I have no idea where that went. Well, it took me 3 hours to rebuild this carb. It was my first time doing it. I had a lot to learn. And really, it was about an hour and a half that it took me to build this. Admittedly, it took me about an hour to find the diaphragm spring that rocket launched itself out. I didn't see where it went, and I tore apart this freaking garage trying to find this freaking spring. Done. Now it's time to go put it back in the bike. Last night I got the carb all together, put it back on the car, or put it back on the bike, put everything back on the bike, and it is running like trash. We'll get this thing on. It's like idling like trash, it's popping. I'm just gonna cut it because there's no use in running it. I also rode it down the street to see how it kind of went through the gears. The throttle seems, surprisingly, the throttle seems extremely responsive. But when I got into the higher RPMs, it started to break up a little bit. I don't know. But that's gonna be it for this. Carbs are not my forte, so maybe hopefully it's just a carburetor issue and we can get it tuned out and somebody can figure this thing out for me. But I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you guys so much for watching. I guess subscribe and find out what happens. Peace. Adios.